Hey everyone, welcome to the That's Allowed podcast. I'm your hostess, Dr. Audrienne McKeon, and today we have Trish Lechman. Please introduce yourself, Trish.
Hi. Hello, everybody. I'm glad to be here with you today. I'm Trish, and by trade, I'm a marketeer, and by calling, I'm a youth coach, youth leader, and above all, a resilient advocate. So I do truly believe that resilience is the way to go, and it's the antidote to all misery.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about what a marketeer is.
So I do marketing by trade.
Mhm.
I never knew what I wanted to do. It was kind of my life's mission to figure out what my purpose is.
Yeah, of
And as I
course.
grew up, I watched my mum become a nurse and she absolutely loved it. She dedicated her whole life to her job. And it really made me feel guilty because I had no idea what I wanted to do. All I knew was I didn't want to be a nurse,
Right.
but I had no other kind of ideas. So then one day I decided to do a French internship at a company. And because I was the only one from my school, this marketing manager took me under his wing, took pity on me, pretty much, story of my life. And but in doing that, I was actually exposed to his world of marketing, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And from that day, I decided, yes, that's what I want to do. Marketing. It's creative, it's challenging, and it's everywhere, as the social dilemma has shown.
Absolutely. So it sounds like you learned some resilience from that experience, but
Oh
also
yeah,
the power of mentorship
and pity.
and pity.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so I'm going to go into the first question, which is what story is the world not getting?
So I tried to form it in a one snappy, concise sentence. It's probably not going to go that way.
Perfect. I like long rambling paragraphs myself.
So, okay, this will probably make more sense the more we dive deeper into it.
Absolutely.
But I truly believe that the story that most people are not kind of buying into is that every person on this planet is the golden child, has the golden child power of the universe. But we all live under this middle child mentality, which holds us back.
I love that. Yeah, let's unpack that a little bit. Tell me more.
I mean, it says what it is, what it does on the tin. No, I'm joking. So the reason how this kind of came about in my life, I basically had no idea what a limiting belief was until last year. And apparently it's a big deal, so I'm told. So I went to this personal development event in Bali. You
Ooh.
could tell that my mum was really proud of me and not scared in the slightest of letting me go alone to Indonesia. No hesitation there, no.
I sense some sarcasm here.
Good. No, so I basically went to this event and two amazing hosts were kind of coaching people on the stage. And one of them asked this person about their limiting beliefs. And I'm kind of listening, thinking, oh, okay, this should be good. I wonder what that is. And then as this person unravels what's been holding them back all their life, I'm kind of thinking, hold on, okay, this makes more sense. Okay, well, I can buy into that. So then as I was listening to what kind of questions that he was asking the person on the stage, I was writing them down and actually applying them to my own situation and thinking, well, okay, well, how does this apply to my life? And what have been the limiting factors in my life? And I came to a realization that my whole life I was kind of living under my brother's wing. So he was the older one, he was the better one, he was the golden child of the family. Everyone knew it. No one admitted it apart from me, but everyone knew it. It was common sense, it was common knowledge. So I was the middle child. So obviously I was the worst one, the black sheep of the family. I mean, I embraced it, but still, I was the middle child. And as I was writing these things down and kind of coming to some sort of answers as to, and also challenging how I was seeing the situation, this memory came up to me of a few years ago when I asked my mum, well, why do you treat my brother so differently? Why do you give him more love and support?
Mm.
And at the time she said to me, well, because he needs it. And okay, at the time I had my blinkers on. I had no idea what she just said. To me, she might have just said, well, I don't love you, I love him. That's what I internalized. I had no idea. I didn't know how to understand what she just said.
Yeah.
But in this moment at this event, as I'm writing this down, as I'm remembering what she said and how she said it, I realized I had this breakthrough moment that what she actually said was, he needs more love and support and you don't. You're stronger than him. That's why I treat him differently. And to me, kind of the whole glass shattered in front of my eyes. Exactly. The whole kabang in my head. And I realized at this point that this limiting belief, this force that has been stopping me from actually giving myself the permission to live my life on my own terms, has been a lie. And it was just a pigment of my imagination that came up with this statement, this belief that I was the middle child. And actually, what the truth was that I've been the golden child of my family all these years, and I thought differently.
Yeah.
That was so powerful. I had to step away of the event. For like hundreds of people there. Everyone was mingling after the session, and I had to go away and cry because I had just realized that, my God, what have I been waiting for? It's all been inside me this whole time.
Yeah. So that's a that's a beautiful kind of perfect separation moment in the kind of hero's journey story, where you realize, like, oh my gosh, I all along I had this different idea of what reality was or what's going on. So then I imagine that sort of kicked off an initiation or learning period for you.
Oof, did it. Boy, did it.
So what happened then? How did you go further?
It's kind of like that moment when, when Neo discovers that, the Matrix is actually this whole new different world. That's how I felt. I didn't know even how to
Took the right
integrate.
pill.
Exactly. For once, I did the right thing. I kind of integrated myself into society, and it felt like this a different world entirely.
Yeah.
What was weird was, as soon as I got back from this event back to the UK, I kind of started talking to other people about this, because to me that was groundbreaking, and everyone else seemed to be like, oh yeah, I have that too. So to me, that just really showed how powerful this limiting belief is,
Yes.
and just how many people live in this middle child mentality even now, even though they know that this is just a limiting belief. So yeah, it was crazy times. As soon as I got back, I texted my brother and I said, "Hey, can we talk?" He came over with fiance. I opened up about my whole experience, and he was like, yeah, I get that, yeah. And he was quite dismissive at first, but his fiance, this is the surprising part, his fiance was absolutely blown away by the whole experience and by everything I said. So it must have really resonated with her. And so that was just really powerful. And then I mended things with my brother and my mum as well, because I felt resentment towards my mother for years. So finally it kind of opened up about how I felt about the situation. And, she shared her side of the story too. And that kind of made me think about our identity and what we attach ourselves to since that day. So I've just been really diving deep ever since that day, to be honest, and kind of embodying this golden child mentality. I've been meaning to get this golden child tattoo, but I don't know if I'll go that far yet.
That's fantastic. So how have you used this new knowledge and reintegrated yourself back into the community or the life that you had before?
Yeah, so the biggest thing was definitely not waiting for his permission. I think where I was really stuck was I was still waiting for his validation and kind of his okay to
Yep.
live my life. And the more I speak to other people, they do the same. They wait for someone, their mom,
Absolutely.
their parent, their dad, whoever, to give them that validation
A
of, yes, I
teacher, an
approve.
authority figure,
Yeah,
it's like we're all waiting for that invitation to the dance. We're waiting for someone to
exactly.
come right up to us and say, okay, it's your turn now, go. No one's going to do that. Just get out on the dance floor, baby. It's your time to shine.
Yeah, so true, so true. And I feel like there's so many hierarchies in the world as well, which kind of stop you and limit you and make you think that you can't step out of your lane too. So yeah, that was definitely the biggest shift in my life. I kind of said to myself, well, what do I want to do? And up until that moment, every time I came up with an idea, I would run it by him. And I would always want his validation and his
Mm.
approval and his positive affirmation that this was a great idea.
Yep.
He always said it was rubbish. Every single one of my ideas was rubbish in his
Rubbish.
opinion, absolutely rubbish. But then after that day, after I kind of said, well, hold on a minute, you're not the golden child, step and get off the throne, it's my turn now. It's shifted in so many new ways, because now all of a sudden, not only does he love my ideas, but he actually seeks my validation.
Uh-huh.
So he asks me for my help, my input, and my support. So that was groundbreaking. And yeah, ever since that day, I kind of said to myself, well, what do I want to do? And at the time, I was in a kind of a toxic environment, and I kind of said to myself, I've had enough. This is enough. I've suffered enough, and now what do I want to do? So I left that environment, and then it's all been flourishing ever since. And then I discovered my life's purpose through scrolling through Instagram mindlessly. That was funny. So I spent my whole life, 23, 24 years, searching for this life's purpose, and it came to me through mindless scrolling through social media. So to anyone who thinks social media is bad, think again. And it basically said, your life's purpose is how you can take your struggles, your worst days, your darkest times, and actually use them to help someone else. And to me, that was definitely my school teenage years. And I said, well, if I can prevent teenagers from going to that dark place, then it's my life's purpose. And I've been doing that ever since that day.
That's wonderful. So a couple of things. I definitely want to hear more about the work that you're doing with teenagers, but I want to go back for a moment. You said you were in a toxic environment, and I think a lot of people can really relate to that feeling. So how do you know when you're in a toxic environment, and how can you get yourself out of it?
Such a powerful question. I don't think you do know. I don't think it's easy to pick up on it. Even when someone tells you, you need to get out of that place, you
Mhm.
still kind of hold on to it because you've invested so much of yourself and energy into this situation. And there's still,
Yes.
I think it's maybe a maternal part of you that thinks, I can change this, I can make this all good.
Mhm. Mhm.
But when you know it's not working, there's just no way it's going to work out. So you hit that resistance all over again.
Yeah.
And yeah, for me, I don't want to say it was going to Bali, but it was going to Bali.
Go to Bali. That's the answer.
Go to Bali, if you can stay there. But I think what changed for me was really stepping into this golden child power. And I think I was never ready for that before, because I was still waiting for someone to tell me, yes, you can leave this place. It's okay for you to leave this place. But because I went to Bali and kind of stepped into this new role, new character, new power, new energy that I suddenly now wanted to embody. And I didn't want to go back. There's no way I was going to go back. I have a few friends from the event who asked me, after a few weeks, they said, Trish, like, I'm noticing I'm going back to the old version of me that I was before this event. Are you? And I said, hell no. Because I think for me, it was just so liberating, but also powerful. And also, when you go to a dark place, you know how bad it is and you don't want to go back there again. So I think for me, it was, I was a new person, and this new person had new standards. And I tried to uphold myself to new standards. And I said, well, am I going to tolerate this situation, or can I change this? And this is one of the biggest things I really promote when it comes to resilience, because I think there's so many schools of life for teaching resilience. But I think not many, especially young people, are taught resourcefulness.
Yeah.
If you're in a really crappy, rubbish situation, yeah, it's fine to change your mentality. It's fine how you think about the situation. It's fine changing how you maybe approach the situation and the people in the environment. But if you're not resourceful enough to actually get out of it or do something about the situation, then you're kind of stuck in the same place.
Yeah. So I just finished a book called Enough, and it's all about getting out of toxic relationships, specifically emotionally abusive relationships. And so one of the things that I talk about a lot is reaching out for help. I think it's one of the
Mm,
things that we don't do enough, and that once you realize, because I think people feel disempowered when they ask for help, but the opposite is true. Asking for help is one of the most powerful things that you can do, because you're
so true.
recognizing, hey, there's all these resources out here. I'm going to make use of them to get what I need.
So true.
And one of the things I see over and over again is that when someone's in a toxic relationship or in a toxic place, if you try to tell them that, they can't hear you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what you can do is empower them to recognize that they deserve better, that they are the golden child, that they are their own hero, they are the author of their own story, however you want to put it, right?
Yes.
Once people recognize that, then they are willing to accept your help to get themselves out of that situation.
So true. So true.
Yeah. So let's talk more about the word resilience. I love that word. I think it's brilliant and beautiful. Brene Brown, I think, was the first one who really taught me about the power of resilience or resiliency. So, where did that word come from for you? And how do you use that to help teenagers specifically?
Mm. Okay, what is resilience? The $1 million question. It's funny because the more I dive deeper into it, every time I think, yes, I know what resilience is, I know exactly how to explain it, I know the exact process, I find something else, or I find another expert, I find another book, and it just completely shifts my perspective on it. And I think it's kind of like there's just different schools of life for resilience. And when we think about psychology, they promote reframing, which basically focuses on this kind of mental shift that you can make, which allows you to be resilient and see a situation from a different perspective. I really love that part, but I don't think that's enough. And then when we look at spirituality, for example, it's all about staying connected, but also accepting that suffering is part of life. So the more suffering, the more you kind of are more opportunities to connect with yourself.
Yeah.
And then the more personal developmental schools of life promote this concept of, well, you need coping mechanisms, you need strategies to be able to get through adversity in a more practical way. I think all of these are great. I think all of these they really encompass what resilience is, but I do think it's an individual kind of journey for everyone, and an individual perception of resilience. So I describe resilience as growing through adversity. And one of my favorite people to study is Kyle Cease. He's a transformative comedian.
Okay.
And he basically says that in order to be more resilient and be more successful and be happier in life, you need to shed your identities and beliefs that you have pretty much just accepted as part of you. And I love that. I really buy into it. He is more on a deep spiritual level when it comes to resilience. I try to kind of bring it up and also provide some practical strategies, but I do think that he describes it perfectly. And he says, every day, your old stories are trying to die. I think that's so powerful. And I think about it this way, and it all connects with the golden child, right? So there's a story where these Indian monks tried to carry this statue covered in clay. I think it was in the 50s. And one of them kind of chips a piece of the statue away, and he is surprised to see that it's actually gold. It's made out of gold. So then they chisel away on the whole statue, and they realize that it's all gold. The whole statue is made out of gold, but all this time it was covered in clay. That's such a powerful metaphor for who we are. I think at the core, we are this golden Buddha. We are this golden child. But because we start believing these things from society, parents, friends, everywhere, we start kind of accepting that this mud, that this clay is truly us. And then it sticks. And it's so much harder to actually get rid of this mud down the line instead of just accepting that it's not actually us.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So, how did this whole journey change you?
Changes. Keeps changing you.
Absolutely.
I think I definitely see life very differently. And honestly, it just feels like I'm climbing this never-ending mountain, and every day I reach the summit, and then on the next day, I realize that there's more to climb, and then I realize, oh, there's actually different directions of mountains, and it never ends. But I feel like I'm in such a powerful position to actually see adversity, see these difficult situations for what they are, and have a better kind of framework overview on what they mean and how they can get me to not only get through them safely, effectively, happily sometimes, but also help other people and show them how to do it too. And I think that's the key to a meaningful life. I think Jay Shetty talks about this. He says, you can't just have happiness. You need to find meaning in everything you do. And it's powerful when you ask people, firstly, what resilience means to them, but also, what do you want in life? It's funny because my first student, teenage student, she's 12. And in one of our first coaching calls, I asked her, what do you want in life? And she said she just wants to be happy. She wants an easy life. And I feel like, that's most teenagers' answer. I just want an easy life. And most of them also say things like a steady job, a great career, enough money, a great house and a family. Look at their parents, look at them, same answer. Yep. But then I asked her recently, after we had gone into a few weeks of coaching, we were discussing something and I randomly asked her, what do you want to get out of life? And we were on a very surface level topic at that point, but she said to me, she wants to eradicate bullying from this world. And it honestly took me by surprise because I had no idea where it came from. But then also, as she dove deeper into it, I realized that she saw someone being bullied. And she took that as, that's not fair, that's not okay. I can do something about that. And she realized in that moment that she is powerful enough and she has a powerful enough voice to actually change how this world works and create powerful impact. Honestly, it brought tears to my eyes because I realized that challenges and adversity have such a powerful effect and they can bring out so many opportunities for us to make this world a better place.
Absolutely. So what do you think, I say, who needs to hear this story? Obviously everybody, but I think teenagers in particular. Why did you choose to work with teenagers?
Firstly, it came as a result of a void. So, as I said, I looked at this Instagram quote and it said, think back to your dark times. My dark times were my teenage years. So I thought, well, when I was a teenager, I really struggled. So the obvious choice is to go for teenagers who struggle now. But then the more I started actually being around teenagers, I realized that, you need to catch them early. Yes. I started thinking bigger. I started thinking about the government, about our leaders currently, authorities, and I want things to change by the time I'm in my 40s and 50s. I don't want to see the same things, the same people, the same rules, and the same mentality. I want to change things early enough to see a more positive impact.
Absolutely. So what would you say is the main message or takeaway for anyone who's listening today?
Well, be resilient.
You are the golden child.
You are the golden child. But I think what stops people from actually hearing the message of resilience and becoming and embodying this golden child is, they think that building resilience takes work, takes effort. And also, I think for many people, it does have a painful connotation because this is a metaphor I love to use. So imagine you have an iPhone 7. No, and let's go for an iPhone 10. Okay, and we want to build it into an iPhone 20. Like no in betweens, just jump from 10 to 20. And if I ask you, can I take this iPhone 10 and only focus on its good features and turn it into an iPhone 20? Most people probably say no. We need to work on the kind of the negative aspects of this iPhone, the errors, the technical issues with it, because you can't just take the positives and turn it into a more powerful force, a more powerful device. You need to be able to shine light on the kind of seemingly bad things about this iPhone. And I think it's the same with people. We need to shine light on our darkest aspects of ourselves, because ultimately that disempowers those dark kind of demons inside us. And I think that's the only way. If you can tackle and actually shine light on your darkest challenges, darkest times of your life, then we can do something with them. This is the exciting part. See, this is when I teach resilience, we don't look at, all your successes and all your happy times. We look at the challenges that you faced and how difficult it was. It's funny because in my coaching group, I'm always known for making people cry in my calls. That's just the typical normal reaction, isn't it? When you think back to your kind of more difficult times. And I love that because it really makes you think, and it just really, again, just gives it less power when you shine more light on it. So the message is, take the good and the bad and let's go. Let's build that resilience. Let's make you into a newer, shinier model.
Absolutely. One of the things I love to do with my clients is I'll have them go back to some, traumatic event from their past. And then I'll have them insert themselves as an adult back into that situation and allow themselves to help their younger self through that event. And what I find happens is that it's not just that, oh, that feels good. It's like it actually changes the past for them, which then changes them in the present and into the future. And I actually believe that. I think you can change the past. And I think you can change the present by changing the past.
So true.
So you said, earlier, it's like you have to get rid of these stories of the past. And I agree with that. But I think to do that, you have to shine light on them first. You can't just let them sort of like, fade away, or they stay there and they keep tugging on you saying, hey, mom, 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 mom.
Yeah.
Until you finally pay attention to them and say, what are you trying to teach me? What do you have for me? And what do you have for the world? And so once you kind of discover what that story is for, you can then share it as a story, put it out there in the world to help other people, and then you get to leave it. Then you get to walk away from it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I so agree. We've just said it's so beautiful because I think it links back to, take your suffering and then use it to help other people. So use your stories, use yourself as a model, and then, turn the nitty gritty into a powerful story and impact this world. Yeah, definitely. So powerful.
Absolutely. So what I like to do at this sort of juncture is I like to do an exercise with my guest. So what I'm going to have you do, I'm going to have you just take a deep breath if you can. Like, yeah, you have drink some tea.
It's not going to be exercise, is that?
It's a mental exercise.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So I want you to take a deep breath. There we go. And I'm going to wave my magic wand here. And I have now made all of your deepest desires come true. Everything that you really, really want has now come to pass here in this moment. So I want you to close your eyes and imagine that you are waking up in this new ideal reality. And look around and tell me what you see, what you can hear, smell, taste, and touch in this space.
First thing that pops up is definitely connection. You can sense the connection. You can connect with a knife. It's just, there's so much connection. And there's dogs, plenty of dogs. Nice, friendly dogs.
Okay, so one of those dogs is on your bed to wake you up. Okay, I want you to describe this dog for me.
It's white, it's fluffy, long ears, stubby little tiny nose. It's waggling its tail, saying, "Get up,
get up, let's play." Beautiful. All right, so you take that invitation, you heed the call to get up. What happens next?
I see a bridge. We're building a bridge, apparently.
Okay.
So, yeah, and there's neighbours next to us. And this bridge allows us to step onto each other's land.
Mm-hmm. What is the bridge made of?
It's... I don't know. It looks like a cartoony bridge to me.
Reach down and feel it with your hand. What does it feel like?
It's very hard. It's very sturdy.
Okay. Stone, maybe?
Yeah, stone, yeah.
Okay. Good. Can you smell anything?
French toast, flowers.
Nice.
And grass.
Yeah, beautiful. What do you hear in this space?
My neighbours talking to my family. about how to connect and further build this bridge. And there's an event going to happen next to us for conscious beings.
Beautiful. Are you a part of that event?
Of course.
Okay. So I want you to see
We're
yourself.
all part of it.
Exactly. I want you to see yourself at that event, and you see someone in the audience when you're speaking as a teenager. And I want you to just see that you've really struck a chord and they just really got it. Like that moment in Bali for you. You're seeing that happen on someone's face. How does that feel?
I see it. Really good.
So I want you to go up to that person and just ask, so what was that like for you? And what do they say?
It changed the whole narrative on life. And they forgave everyone around them and themselves. And there's nothing they need to worry about holding them back. And now there's just stillness and peace. Now she's ready to dance.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And speaking of dancing, let's say there's an after party for this event.
Oh yeah.
And so I want what music is playing at this after party?
Celebrate good times. Come on.
Nice. So you're there, you're dancing. What are you wearing?
A weird hippie brownish dress. This is not my usual attire.
I love it.
Maybe it's my mum's. I don't know.
Well, it's something you feel very comfortable in, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's very airy.
Yeah. Love it. Okay, so are you barefoot?
Yeah.
I feel like you're barefoot when you say that. So I want you to just you can feel the earth beneath your feet as you're dancing. And I want you to just see energy coming up from the earth into your body in colored light. What color is the light?
Red, turquoise, blue, purple.
Beautiful. So it's just coming up into you in waves, and then it's spreading out from you into the whole crowd around you. And now after the event, I want you to go someplace, and this is kind of your happy place. This is a special space that you go to when you just want to be with yourself and in peace and in joy. What is that space?
It's a blue lagoon in Bacalar in Mexico. There's nobody around. It's just clear water. You can't see anything. It's just clear.
Beautiful. What do you smell there?
Just freshness and probably someone holding tacos waiting for me on the boat.
Yes, tacos. All right. I want you to join that person on the boat and have a taco and look out at the water and just feel that connection. Feel that you are completely adored by this person and that the feeling is entirely mutual. What can you hear?
He's playing Celebrate Tonight on his boat. Celebrate good times on his boat.
I love it. I love it. All right, let's end there. You can open your eyes. Perfect.
That was so good.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
So what I'd love for you to do, if you're so inspired to, what I recommend is you get that song, Celebrate Good Times, and I want you to just make a little slideshow to go along with that song. So some images that came up, they don't have to be exact matches to what you saw in your mind, but just images that remind you of that experience of being in this ideal world.
Yeah.
And then set a time. I like to do it first thing in the morning because it kind of sets the tone for my day.
Mm.
And just watch that little slideshow and listen to that music every day for like a week and then see if it changes anything for you.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Oof, I'm gonna have a dance party every morning thanks to you.
That's what I'm talking about.
I have your permission to do that. Okay. I don't care
You
about
have
my
your own
neighbors.
you have
I'm
your
just
own
gonna,
permission to do that.
yeah, I'm gonna, if my neighbors come round, I'm gonna blame you.
Well, you're building a bridge to
Yeah,
your
oh, that's
neighbors
so
so they get to come and
true.
dance to celebrate with you. You can spread that joy and spread those colors all around
I love it.
your neighborhood. Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, I
it's
love it.
great. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I would love for you to tell the folks at home where they can find you.
So they can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I'll have my website in about 2 weeks. But for now, Instagram is probably the easiest way to find me. It's Trish Lechman, Lechman. And good news, if you're a quiz fanatic, I've just released a free resilience quiz today. So you can find that on all of my social media channels. And you basically get a score, a resilience score, which will tell you how resilient you are. And of course, there's some funny answers, so I'm hoping you go for those. But yeah, I'm excited to see what kind of scores everyone gets.
That's great. I love quizzes. I just wrote a quiz too, so I got to get that up on
Amazing.
my website. Yeah, my quiz is what creator type are you? So that should be
Ooh,
fun.
yeah,
Because I
definitely.
really want everyone to know that you're a creator, whether you recognize that or not, just like, you're the golden child, whether you recognize that or not. You are a creator. You have that creator energy and that creator power within you.
So
So
true. They are the golden creator. We are all a golden
absolutely.
creator.
Absolutely. So what are you creating next? It sounds like you've got a website coming out.
Yes, I do. And it's going to be hopefully full of resources. And I'm going to work on a teenage version of the resilience quiz. And I'm seeing that a lot of people are planning their kind of 2021, and I'm drawing on a few different systems for goal mapping and vision planning. And I think there's so many elements in kind of each kind of experts systems, and I feel like it's kind of my calling to put them all together into one simple, actionable 30-minute, no BS, no longer than that, session where you just kind of plan it out. And yeah, you really get to step into who you want to become as a result, because I really buy into that. There's the to-do list, that's great, but the to be list on who you
Mm,
want to be and embody as a result of that achievement, I think that's more powerful than actually achieving it.
absolutely. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here, Trish. This has been great.
Thank you so much. It has been great. Yeah.